Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge Aftershow. Today, Jenna, Pam, and I are doing a double feature for you. We're talking two episodes, episode 7, Deep Web of the Challenge, Ride or Dies, and episode 8, Born to Ride or Die, which I don't get the purpose of calling it Born to Ride or Die for episode 8 last night. I didn't really get the Deep Web one they mentioned for episode 7, but again, Born to Ride or Die. Someone in the comments will tell us what the meaning of that is.
I have a question because of the elimination, like jumping on the cars. Is there like a Fast and Furious called Born to Ride or something?
Oh, well, the daily challenge of the car jumping. That's like Fast and the Furious.
I love that you said that, Pam. But the Fast and Furiouses are just called Fast and Furious, the Fast and Furious, the Fast and Furious 4, Fast 5, Fast 6, F7, F9. I wish they got that creative.
We've actually talked about it on our show before, Fast and the Furious.
Ridiculous. It's one of my favorite like American culture phenomenons, like how we just let this happen.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if we've talked about this, but I've never seen one, but I feel like I could pretend that I have very well and talk about, like, I've seen enough trailers that I think I get the gist of the whole 9 movies or 10 or however many there are. Like, I could probably tell you what happens in them, even though I've never seen them.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's do this. There's a day party in episode 7, Deep Web. They all go out for a day party. And the biggest thing I took away from this is that Darrell's the best, because he literally has a conversation with Bananas. And he goes back to Veronica and he goes, I don't believe anything that guy just said. And it's just like, why aren't more people? Everyone else is kissing Bananas' ass. Darrell is just like, he's not that guy. Bananas even admits, he says, Darrell doesn't like to talk game. But it doesn't mean he's not playing the game. That's why, isn't that like the essence of why Darrell is like one of our favorites of all time? He doesn't believe the hype of any of these other players. He just plays his own game. And I just love him for that.
It's exactly why, but also to make it even better is he doesn't even try to suck up to Bananas either, or try to put on any facade of listening to Bananas or wanting to work together. He doesn't say like, yeah, bro, we totally got to stick together. Let's do it. He just stands there blank face staring off the balcony into the horizon. And I just love it because he knows that Bananas is just using him because now Bananas needs him, because now Bananas' name is getting in the pot. He went down into the elimination where he had to pull the sword the previous week. So Darrell's like, I see right through you. You only want me because you need me now. But I love that he doesn't try to play that fake game.
Yeah.
That's something that we're missing from the OGs. So that's why they're so important to have on the show, because they bring that just honesty that he's like, I'm not budging. I'm not telling you we're going to work together because we're not gonna.
Right. And he listens. He's like, like to Bananas' pitch. Like Bananas, like a used car salesman. Like, listen, this is what's going to happen. And he's like, cool, thanks. Yeah. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with me. Yeah.
And I feel like that's the best thing to do to Bananas, to kind of humble him a little bit, because once you try to go against him, he is the best gaslighter ever, right? Like he has to find anything to throw in your face. So if you just kind of nod and smile and both of you know that he's not eating your bullshit, that's kind of the best way to handle him.
Yeah, agreed.
I wanted to talk about the challenge, Peaking Blinders, where they had to stand on that pole and they had to basically hold it down so the other person could climb up the ladder and read the puzzle. And then they had to run back and forth to do this. Okay. And I think that this challenge, not only was it fun to watch, I think it also showed a lot of the flaws that a lot of these teams are going to have. Jenny, you're smiling already. I don't know if you know who I'm going to talk about, but I think this is going to happen more and more with Jordan and Anissa. Anissa is not going to be able to keep up in the endurance aspect of a lot of the things that are going to happen. I think Jordan's going to start getting pissed off because that's really going to hold him back in the scheme of things. And I think this also showed the card of how good Nelson and Nurys are becoming on this show. And I talked about this before, the poster, every time I sign into my direct TV thing, the poster that's the backdrop for the challenge this year is a huge shot of Nurys and Nelson, followed by Chauncey and Amber, and then the smallest one is Nany and Bananas. So I'm like, these three must do something this season, and we're seeing it now. Nelson has not only won one, but he's won 2 daily challenges, something that he hasn't done in years. I think Nurys has a lot to do with that as well, because I think she's a solid female competitor.
Oh yeah. And smart. I think she's the brains behind that operation.
That's
but
not saying much because we're dealing with Nelson, but yeah, I agree.
But I wish she would sometimes, and we'll get to that in the next one, steer him a little harder. Like I think she does defer to him sometimes when she's, knows that it might not be the right choice, but we'll save that. But that's more foreshadowing.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because that point had me thinking like Nerys is really sitting pretty because she's connected with a veteran who has all of these connections in the house, and she's a rookie, and she's forming those relationships with other rookies in the house. So they're kind of in the best of both worlds, that they have those alliances with everybody. And we'll talk about it, but we see
I think Fessy, well, even though we know Fessy and Nelson seem to be on it's like more rookie side, if we're doing like the house is pretty divided, they seem a little bit more on that newbie side in terms of their
don't
alliances.
forget that they're with Casey and Kenny. I mean, week after week, I keep forgetting that Casey is
Casey
there.
and Kenny.
I literally keep forgetting that they're there. And I also am frustrated that because she's connected to Nany, nobody's throwing them in. Like, no offense to Kenny, but dude, you are skating, rollerblades, skateboard, straight to the end. No one's even looking your way because you're Casey's brother and Casey is Nany's girlfriend. Like, I don't know. People love Nany so much, and therefore they love Casey, that they are not willing to put Casey in. But they're not doing anything. They're not proving themselves. They're not winning any challenges. Why do they deserve to elude elimination week after week? It's like
they really super don't. I can't. It's I so forget about them that I forget that they've never shown up. It's like, wait a second. Why aren't they showing up on eliminations? Because they're so forgettable. I wonder if someone out there has to do a compilation. I feel like there's been 12 seconds of like Casey and
especially
Kenny in this whole season.
Well, I mentioned last week
that only because they were thrown in and Nany threw a hissy fit. Like that's the only time we saw them.
I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago that Kenny had his first line of the season, basically. And everyone knows how I feel about Casey, so I don't want to get into it. But Kenny brings nothing to the show either. I'm not trying to hate on the whole family, but he brings absolutely nothing. There's no way this kid would ever have been on reality TV if it wasn't for his very famous sister, who, by the way, is not great on this show. This is not the show for her. And I'm really upset that she's actually like a challenge champion. And to have to call her that, like, it hurts me deep down. And every week I do forget they're on the show. And I love it every week. And then you girls bring up that they're on the show every week and I get mad again. So there you go.
I am with you. I think this is not the show for her. I did not dislike her on Big Brother because we got to focus on her a little bit. And on this, like, if it's possible, I was going to say she is the most boring person to ever appear on the show. But then you enter Kenny. So like, yes, I like Casey as a person. It also pains me to call her a challenge champion because that was such bullshit. We won't even go back to that, but this is showing, again, no offense on Casey, who I like, how important her success is tied in with a partner, because though she's good, a crap partner can really drag her down. You see people that are challenge champions like Jordan, Wes, Bananas, that they're going to win even if they have a shit partner. Like they're going to motivate that partner. They're going to, and these Big Brother people just aren't cut out for it. They just don't have the.
Well, Casey is good. We've said that before. She is good athletically.
She's athletic, right?
She's competitive. But right now they're really just coasting. She's really not doing anything to prove that they're top tier competitors at all.
Nothing.
And it's not like this challenge.
Like, their social game isn't even strong either. They're not politicking. They're not making these amazing game moves or alliances.
They just naturally have them.
No, I guess it's because Casey is really likable, right? And people like people, but also your average nice guy doesn't just get to evade elimination week after week, So it's because she's with Nany and because she was in Big Brother and has Fessy that she just has this way of not ending up in elimination. But it's just annoying because they're not even really playing the game. They're honestly
this is what isn't this the perfect challenge for them to actually
Kenny
succeed
hanging
at?
out? Like, what's Kenny doing all day?
Nothing. Yeah.
Like literally, who's do you think he's like?
I doubt he's hitting the weight racks. Yeah.
Right,
but Peaking Blinders, isn't this the perfect opportunity for them to prove themselves? Like, Kenny's obviously not the strongest dude, but can he have good endurance and maybe be smart to memorize and help memorize a a
They're
pattern.
literally just
And
middle
Casey
tier.
supposedly has, and I don't even know how they placed in this because producers can do whatever the hell they want with this season as far as who's going to win each one. But this one actually, no, you actually had a finish on time. I don't know where they were behind Nerys and Nelson, but anyways, yeah.
But I was smiling when you brought up this challenge because I forgot about it until this moment when we sat down to do this. But I watched this with my mom, and her and I were laughing our ass off the entire time. Like,
it was fun to watch.
The funniest challenge on this entire season. Veronica not giving a shit, not wanting to run at all, and Darrell just kind of like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. And also them starting the puzzle from the top down. And trying to stick a triangle piece into the top of the puzzle when it's clearly just going to fall off and you have to go from the bottom up. But I love that they just didn't give a shit. I was just laughing the entire time at them.
Well, I think I had sent you ladies like 2 or 3 weeks ago, some type of Twitter, something where winning dailies this year, because we talked about Bananas purposely losing. Do you really want to win the dailies this year? Because there really isn't. If you have the right social game, there's not a huge repercussion for losing.
There's
or coming
zero.
In last
That's
place.
what Bananas pointed out.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I also think you kind of have to do it slyly, right? Like, I don't think you should be so obvious with the fact that you're not really trying to compete, because that's going to piss people off, because some people are going really hard and it's just going to give them an excuse to throw you in because they probably think your lack of effort is your lack of desire to be there.
Sure.
Well, that's why next year they need to go back to the old format. Like, you can nominate 3 teams. That's fine. Nominate instead of nominate 4 right now. How about you nominate 3, but the last team in the daily challenge just goes right in. Like, it's
there
so
has
easy
to be some incentive not to lose. Like the way it is this season, the way it's set up is, of course, you want to win, but if it becomes clear you're not going to win and one of your allies isn't going to win, it doesn't make a fucking fuckload of difference if you're second place or last. So it's like, why bust my ass if I'm not going to win? And if someone that I'm trust isn't going to win. So I get it. Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And it's also a huge lack of motivation, because I totally get that. It's like, all right, we're not winning this. What's the point of showing our cards of how good we could be or anything at that point? If there's no repercussions, you're not immediately going in. They do need to get it back to loser goes in and then you nominate 3. They could even do the 3 and the safety person picks a team to go against them. I mean, there's so many things they could do, but yeah, having no incentive not to lose is.
I guarantee the format changes next season. They're not going to do it this way again, because they blatantly saw Bananas not try with Nany a couple weeks ago. They're like, oh, we can't keep doing this. Ladies, I wanted to bring up a point at the end. I don't know if it was Tori or Devin or Nelson and Reese. They got to the top of their pyramid and they only had 2 pieces left, basically. That was it. The rest they thought was right. And they, instead of asking for a check from TJ, they run all the way the F back to just double. Why couldn't they just ask for a check there? I didn't know if it was against the rules. Maybe I missed something. But like at that point, most teams would just have switched it, say check again, switch it, say check again. But they ran back to him. So I wonder if there was something we didn't hear from TJ where he had said it needs to be exactly perfect before you ask for the check. But I don't know. I don't get it.
That's impossible. How do you know if it's exactly
That's
perfect?
my point, Pam. I don't understand how this worked. I was thrown off.
I don't know. I don't remember last week.
It happened, though. I remember it happening. I wrote it down on my phone because I was watching it on my phone and while I was visiting my family.
Sure, it happened. No,
I don't remember, but I wonder if they said you only get 1 shot. What if you could?
That's an interesting point, and I wish that they had.
But we didn't. I don't remember that.
I don't think they said that. I would have remembered that, I feel like, but whatever. Tell us in the comments below what I'm missing here.
Yeah, what's the deal?
I'm glad you said that, because I was so distracted just laughing at this challenge that I didn't even think about that, and my mom did. She's like, wait, why can't they just check it?
Right.
Thank you, Mom. Jenna's mom has got it going on.
Jenna's mom has got it going on.
I would invite her on here, but she would just talk the entire time.
Maybe a Patreon with Jenna's
mom. Wink to you, Mom. She listens, so.
A private interview. We could do an interview on Patreon
with Jenna's mom.
Yeah.
We should do a Patreon and then make her pay the $1 to watch the Patreon, because she refuses.
She might actually pay it if she's featured on Patreon. So there you go.
Exactly.
Okay, so
join
we find
our Patreon.
out.
I also
Nelson is coming in big this season again.
Bachelor with us on a
well, that too. Nelson and Nerys, they win, and I don't know. They go into interrogation and they nominate the 4 teams. They nominate. Here we go. I got it. Jordan and Anissa, Amber and Chauncey, Johnny and Nani and Veronica and Darrell. And everyone seems like those are solid choices. They were all pumped. Okay, we're gonna because Jay, Devin, and Nelly talk, and they're like, we need new champs. They want new champs. And I like Devin's thought on this. This next episode 8, we'll get into him. It's insanely. I revert to the other side of not liking Devin, but his new champs thought for this episode.
This episode.
No, episode 8, I don't like him. Episode 7, I liked him.
Oh, episode 7 was his annoying fight with Michelle that I really.
No, that's episode 8. That's the latest episode.
Mm-mm.
No, that didn't happen last night because I don't remember.
He fought with Michelle and Amber in episode the last night. Oh wait, was this? Oh
no, that
you're
was
right. It was
the
tonight.
one.
Sorry,
I remember.
I mixed them up too. I didn't like.
Don't try to tell us. No kidding.
I liked Devin when he said new champs, and then I instantly hated him later in the episode with Michelle and Amber stuff. Yes.
Oh my God, he got under my skin so bad, which is a bad place for Devin to be because
we can
jump
jump into that because I think it's so important to bring up. It was so bully and bossy. It was like, I don't like hearing you talk like this. I'm like, who is this dude? Why is he acting like he's like the king and you're his like loyal servants? Like, what is he was talking down to them so bad. Go on.
Sunday. Also, if you're mad at one person, why the hell are you manipulating the situation to take it out on the second person? You're actually mad at Amber. Because Amber's calling you out because you are making a deal with everybody in the house. So A, she's correct. And B, it's pissing you off because you're being called out. But whatever, you don't like to be talked about. So that's fine and can be somewhat justified. But you're yelling at Michelle because she didn't come running to you to tell you that Amber's talking about.
It was bad. It was such a bad look.
It's so weird. Now I remember that. It's like,
I'm surprised Devin is. I didn't go on social media or anything because I was on vacation. I didn't check it. I'm wondering how much hate he's getting because the way that he
really
talked
embarrassing to watch
to Michelle was to me a little like almost like unacceptable. You don't need to talk to someone in that way. I will say this though. Amber, in a way, too, is trying to control the house the way that Devin is, the way that she sends Chauncey off to talk to Jordan. And she's trying to be Devin in the way, but I think that Amber's a little jealous at how much control Devin really has. Not that I approve of the way he talked to Michelle, but Devin is doing something in this house. There's a lot of people that are fighting battles for him as far as Nelson when he puts down Amber and Chauncey in this elimination tonight. But Amber's a little jealous too. She's doing the same type of stuff though. Let's be real. Like they both are. So you can't. It's hard to.
I don't know if she's doing it to that level. Yeah. Like she's certainly not making partnerships.
They're not showing us everything either though.
Single. Yeah,
but
that's true.
She's not a mastermind. I think she's just like.
Really?
I don't like that. No, I don't think Amber's.
I think that why does everyone hate her every season? Then what is going on? What is
I'll
she
tell
doing?
you why. When we talk about
the
next
same
season.
thing. Nerese said the same thing. I don't know.
We'll talk about what? You're cold.
No, my shoulders are getting so blurry. But no, I something about your take. It's interesting that you interpreted it as jealousy because I didn't see it as her being jealous. I literally could just see being in a house with Devin could get really annoying because he does make deals with everybody, but tries to point the finger at everybody else. So I think that she's just seeing like, oh, there goes Devin. As soon as somebody wins, there he goes. Like,
but doesn't she also brag about her social game and how good it is? Or other people talk about how good her social game is? They've mentioned it before.
Everybody hates Amber. I don't think
they've mentioned her social game. I'm telling you, they have on the show.
I don't know.
I think her mention of her social game is that she's not tied to Big Brother in the way that she wanted to be.
Yeah, and that. No, I don't think she has like a good rep for a social game at all.
Yeah,
I'll save it because I don't remember this exact thing, so I'll save my comments for.
Well, you remember Devin and how it was outside. He was talking to Michelle.
I do. I think
it was a really bad look.
That's all I remember. I think again, was it like after a night out?
Yes, they were like Jay was like, "All right, I'm tucking everybody in. I'm putting everyone to sleep," and then Devin stayed out, and they all ended up staying out and having some. Especially Devin having some kind of harsh words for Michelle, like unnecessary. Like she's not your little minion. She can make a different decision. Right. I get you're working with her. However, at the beginning of the episode, they showed Devin and Tori talking, and Devin wants to keep his relationship with them going, where Tori's like she wants to kind of cut ties. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know either.
Thinking back to the episode, it was either last season or the season before, when he got really mad at Tori because Tori was removed from the team that Devin was on and went to a different team, and she had to play for that new team.
Right.
And Devin basically wanted her to like throw the challenge or not go as hard as she could so that his team that she's no longer on
that kicked her out. That like betrayed her.
I feel like his whole perception of loyalty is just like really flawed or distorted
or self-involved. Like
Bananas compared him to Wes in a way. I wouldn't go that far because I think Wes is just at another level with his social game. But I thought what Bananas said was somewhat true, where he was like, he's trying to deflect all the heat on him. So he's deflecting it onto Michelle for literally no reason when so it was interesting what Banana said. I thought that was somewhat factual, actually.
And Devin, though, to his credit, luck and credit, had made those deals with people. Like, he had kept them out. They haven't been in an elimination yet, have they?
They
the first one,
episode one, I think they went down there and they played against Kayla, which is crazy to think that Kayla was on this season. Right? It's like, that was this season. And people give us crap all the time. You guys mix that up with that season. It's hard to remember who's on episode one of this season. How am I going to remember 5 years ago? Like, I'm doing my best. Yeah.
There's some times when I go to sleep at night and I'm like, what did I do today? What is one single thing that I did?
Let's try to remember something that happened in my life.
I don't remember the time code of the episode from 9 years ago.
Okay, that's what this is. Just
but let's be real, they don't either. They looked it up and then they call us out on it. They're not like,
I don't know. I'm putting the credit to the viewers. I think that they actually know at the top of their head.
I think some people will look it up to just prove us wrong and then say they knew it too. I think there's
I have to ask you guys a question. Okay, so if you were a time traveler and the future you came back to like right now, and you were like, next, Jenna's they always prove like by knowing exactly what's gonna happen next. Like future me is like, oh, Jenna's gonna do this and then put her hands down. It's like, oh, I'm like, if I was a time traveler, I'd be like, I don't fucking know what's gonna happen. Maybe sometime next year you'll move, like those kinds of things. Like, and even real people when they're like, in 76, when I walked on I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, I know the year I graduated high school. Other than that, like, I would never be able to be like, it was 2011. I walked into my apartment. Like, how do they always do that when they're time travelers?
Right. So if you're competing on this show, you probably don't even remember what happened at that elimination.
Right. I mean, the main things, I guess, in this show and the reality, but if I was a time traveler, I would have a really hard time proving it to even myself. I'd be like, you're not me. Like, what am I going to do next?
You'd be like, your middle name is this. And it's like, that's not hard. That's not hard
your
to find
social security number. Right.
Exactly.
I mean, it would be really hard.
Any other thoughts before we get to the elimination of episode 7? No.
Okay. We just chalked it up to, as I truly just think, Pam, you were saying this earlier, that he was drunk, and I think it was just being a drunk asshole. Like,
he was being an asshole, but I don't think there was much behind it.
But, you know, sometimes when people get drunk, they cannot be told anything. Like, you could not tell Devin anything in that moment. He was going to die on that hill. And I wish that we saw either like an explanation or maybe an apology the next morning. It was just like absolutely nothing. Like, he took no accountability.
I think it was more, I don't care if he thought that Michelle lied to him. All right, so be it. You lied to me. I don't like that. But the way that he spoke with her was like almost like demeaning, like, you're not a real contestant, I am. So everything that you do on the show should revolve around me and my decisions, and you should do what I want. It was a lot to take in. Really, and I've never heard Devin speak that way to somebody on the show. I've heard him be sarcastic. Well, listen, no. I've heard him be sarcastic.
Natalie, Amber M.
Sarcastic can be a dick is different than talking down as if they're not worthy of being on the show that he's on. It was a different.
That's kind of the way he talks, though.
Yeah.
You thought the way that he spoke, that was another level to me in that episode.
Yeah.
That I didn't think I've seen from him.
I feel like there was another situation with Devin and perhaps Amanda where he was like, you're not doing something in my best interest. I thought we were friends. And she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would I make a move for why would I do what's in your best? Where he legit, again, with what Jenna was saying about loyalty, was trying to like con her into doing what was good for him that was not at all good for
Did you ladies
her.
watch him on Are You the One? I know one of you did. Did you both watch him on Are You the One?
I recently-ish did.
Oh God, yeah, I remember.
Okay, and he treated that girl like shit.
Awful.
But that's not the way he was talking to Amber V. He was just an asshole to this other girl. What was her name?
Kiki.
Kiki, thank you. He treated Kiki on his original season of Are You the One, which I suggest you go watch just because it's very entertaining, but he's
also Kiki girl, she needed to have some self-awareness.
Come on, yeah, that's true too. Kiki needed to get the hell out, right?
Devin invented negging with Kiki that season.
I don't know what's negging.
Negging is when you're like, oh, did you gain some weight? Trying to insult someone into liking you. Like, oh my God, no, I'm pretty. Look at me. Like, you haven't heard this term.
That's what negging is?
It's like, yeah, it's an, I mean.
Is it an insult followed by a compliment? That's not negging.
No, it's just sort of being like guys will sort of, or mostly guys will like insult a girl into liking that, like to try and sort of demean them into liking you.
Flirting. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not even flirting. It's manipulation. It's like, oh, like,
isn't flirting manipulation anyways though? Like when you first meet somebody, you're on your best behavior, hey girl, half the time.
Look good.
That's flirting is kind of manipulation.
That's better than negging is sort of trying to play on someone's
insecurity
so that they want your approval. It's trying to manipulate someone into having you approve of them.
How would that? I guess it's like Stockholm syndrome in a way, right? Like you start to like the person to you.
Yeah, or if you met a guy that
you would have someone to insult you and then for you to then like them, that doesn't really. But I guess psychologically, it has that effect.
It's almost like the like, oh, like what you do with a child, like you can't run there in 10 seconds. Like, yes, I can. It's sort of a version of that. Like,
okay.
Like, oh, you probably don't like making out with guys. Like, it's like, no, I do. Like you sort of make them.
Ooh, let me prove it. Let me prove it. Yeah,
right. Okay. It's kind of like through sort of in like, oh no, like you wouldn't want to do the kind of things that I like to do. Like you wouldn't be good at it.
Wow.
It's like, no, I do. Can I go on a date with you? I like hiking. Yeah, exactly. There's some
really
sort
good.
of like.
Do you ladies remember the
insult? Sort of.
Do you ladies remember the name of the elimination? Was it Deep Web or was that just in my head that it was called?
Oh
Deep
yeah,
Web?
with the Veronica.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if it was called Deep Web. It just looked like a web, so we'll call it Deep Web. That's the elimination.
Yeah, I think web was in
the
there.
Deep dark web.
Yeah.
Nelson and Nerys, they put in Amber and Chauncey, which it's like you have three heavy hitters, and then you have Amber and Chauncey, who we kind of know that they're good, but we don't know if they're heavy hitters like the other three. So everyone's like, oh, Devin's controlling the game. And then, of course, here we go. We're going to the draw, right? They're all got the swords. Dan's dagger.
Daggers.
Dan's dagger. Here we go. And Bananas and Nani, they get first pull. Oh my God, how nice. And what do? They pull the safety. Oh my God, how nice. Do we see the other daggers? For a second week in a row, we do not see the other daggers.
Nope.
So there you go. I'm not going to say it's conspiracy. I'm just throwing it out there.
I think it's
why does this keep
conspiracy. Happening? Dan's daggers is real.
It's a real thing.
I think it's totally real. I think, again, look at it. It's like a big booth with a tablecloth underneath. There's definitely someone under there.
It's a classic magician, right? Cut the girl in half.
Yes.
There you go. Classic.
The dagger thing is too good to be true for production every week that it's actually starting to make me mad. Like it's so obvious that I just like do one of those where you put your hands in the air, like it being Nelson and Nerys this week and it being Nani Bananas last week. I'm like, well, of course it was, because that leads up to all of your confessionals, all those
we'll talk about
sprinkling
Jenna, you nailed it too.
Led up to this moment.
The drama in episode 8 because Nelly gets the safety one. I mean, that's what they wanted. Come on. Anyways, I wrote it down.
No, I love it.
He's such a pure-hearted friend that he truly does not ever want to hurt anybody. So
except the girl he likes instead of the guy that betrayed him. Sorry, we'll
get it. Oh,
I'm
Pamela,
so mad
I will
at
let
him.
you rant and rave about this because I'll be doing the same in a little bit. Hi, Luke. Oh, you can't hear
I
me.
can't
because
hear
have
you.
this-
I have headphones on.
Oh, we
Everyone
love
says
our
hi, honey.
CJ.
He says hi too.
Oh, good. So anyway, so then of course Bananas saves. They save Jordan and Anissa, right? So that forces Darrell and Veronica to go in against. Of course, it's the master versus the he was
The newbie, right?
the newbie, or they worked as they were like partners.
Yeah, they were a
season.
team.
They won the damn
they
thing,
won.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
His
master and the
mentor.
teacher, I guess.
And
The student
no,
surpasses the
student
teacher.
and teacher.
Student
Yeah.
teacher, whatever you want to call
Yes,
it.
there we go.
Yeah. Master and student. Yeah, same idea. So, anyways,
Okay.
and then they have to go against each other. And
Apprentice.
ladies, this freaking figure 8 puzzle was the most garbage thing I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't figure. It was awful to watch as a viewer. I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't get like, how does each piece even go in?
I don't know. I wonder if they had
falling down. Reminded me of like a play place, like a McDonald's play place, going up and down, that type of thing. So that's I was like, oh, this will be fun to compete in. But watching it, I mean, Veronica had her issues, obviously. Carter, there's Carter's booty.
There's
Veronica's booty. We got Carter's booty.
Yeah, all the
That's
booties.
a good call on the McDonald's play place.
Yeah.
Right?
Again, we really are going to miss Veronica and Darrell because they're just the comic relief. You know, Darrell is complimenting her assets and that being a reason as to why this
From
challenge
last one, I just wrote,
I miss Veronica.
Was my big last night. I was like, oh, this is fun. This is fun. I miss Veronica. Like all her commentary and her sort of like, I don't give a shit attitude was really, I missed it last night.
Plus, she's a friend of the show. Friend of the show.
We all love her.
Yeah.
She's one we all agree on, which is hard. Usually we don't all love the same person a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love that she doesn't get herself in super, at least like tip-top shape, like even a little shape, like a little more like invested in that part of it. And she's admitted that she doesn't. So yeah.
But you do need those people. Like you do need that yin to the CrossFitters yang.
For
but
sure.
There's a difference between like Veronica and Darrell do it in, or mostly Veronica does it in a very entertaining way where she's still providing her personality or her social game that's funny and entertaining to watch. For example, like a Kenny, we don't know if he's athletic, but it doesn't maybe seem like he's a top tier competitor, but there's nothing else that he provides that makes us.
He doesn't. And and let's be honest, he DQ'd in episode 8 on that jumping from car to car. He's one of the ones that DQ'd. So he did not do well.
But I always love those people that are there to like drink and party and not give a shit. So they're definitely needed on the show.
And Veronica also, the reason I think we all love her is because she's 100% genuine. Like Jemmie is also entertaining and I think who she is, but is sort of playing for the camera. I think Veronica is literally like, if you're going to pay me to come to Mexico and sort of quip every now and then, like I'll do it. But I don't think she's putting on any sort of performance either.
Right.
Not
like
this,
it's like great.
Definitely not at this point in her career.
She's not showing, right. She's not like making fake friendships or causing she's not stirring anything up for the camera. She's not even, I don't think, acting. I think she's just being herself, and it's fun to watch. And like,
you know how they
you can do that and get paid. Why the hell not? And in Mexico with some old friends, like.
I wish we could watch the show, the 24-hour feeds like in Big Brother, because I do want to see who everybody actually is hanging out with and who people are talking to. For example, not that I wish the show was 3 days of a week because that's way too much, but an episode like last night's felt really long and slow to me. It felt like they didn't actually have a lot of like content heavy stuff to fill it. And I'm missing like, okay, so we don't know who Kenny is or who he hangs out with. So I want to,
you know, do they let him out of the room? Like I feel like they trap Kenny in a room.
And also like Bananas is there, but we're not even like really seeing Bananas have an impact on this season that much. And I do want to see like who Veronica is hanging out with and talking with, and maybe if it wasn't even gaming, what is she doing when she's there?
Right.
There's just so many people that we're not getting a full focus on.
We as viewers have come up with a lot of great ideas for them over the seasons. They need to start using these ideas. I mean, they already have the cameras going. Just keep them rolling. And then when they don't want us to see something, do what Big Brother does and just throw us to a feed of Kenny eating a bowl of cereal or a yogurt parfait in the morning. Like, he's just sitting there doing that for hours.
Yeah.
Out of the gym.
I mean, it's a little bit obsessive. I mean, I know I just said I wish that there was 24 hours feed. Maybe I wouldn't go that dramatic because it does feel like really weird to sit and watch other human beings on your laptop like all day, every day. I wouldn't go that hard, but just like a little check-in, like, oh, like,
no, check-ins are
what
fun.
these people doing, you know?
It would be fun even if they didn't show it because like with Big Brother, who's got the fucking time and energy to watch the feeds? Not me, but we got a recap. So even if they have like hired one person or like a series of people to do shifts and then sort of recap like what you missed, that would be fun. Like Veronica and Nani were up all night deciding they wanted to get rid of Tori, and you know what I mean? Like that's fun stuff that we'd like to know. Like after everyone went to sleep, Mariah and Bananas sat by the pool.
We
and
would
talked
be a
for
great
3
podcast
hours.
for that. If
Yes.
they said, hey, Dan,
Hire
Jennifer,
us.
we're going to pay you guys to watch it 24/7. Whatever. Not while they're sleeping, obviously, because until they go to bed. We get paid for it. We do our after show about it. I mean, we're giving them these $1 million ideas.
Yes.
People and then we could show clips on our show. Here we're showing clips. We'll get another producer besides me.
Right.
Get an extra producer.
MTV's producer will
Well,
help.
yeah,
us.
they pull the
It will be
footage
better
for us. I
produced.
mean, come on.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Absolutely.
hard to feel invested in certain things. For example, like it was brought up on last night's episode to Mariah. Oh, I know it's hard if Bananas gets thrown in. You're probably going to want to save him.
Right.
Why? Because they flirted at the pool one time?
Apparently they're
that's all we
dating.
saw.
Right.
Now, Bananas' birthday, she gave him a kiss on the lips.
And she was standing there and they
But
acted,
it's
no,
like,
apparently
wow.
they're
That
Right.
escalated from the last time we
Which
saw the
sucks because we
Why-
wanna see
exactly
it
what
all.
I'm saying. We don't see shit about even all these hookup couples. Even Nani and Casey, they won't even give Casey screen time. We've never seen them hang out in the house. My girlfriend goes home,
They're
you're gonna
boring,
die.
but that's me.
They're boring, but I forget Casey's there, and then I forget one of her girlfriend is like one of the biggest characters on the thing. Like they don't even show them. Yeah, this
Okay,
cut and
I
paste
got a
format
question
is
for you
not
ladies. This is
good.
great. I went home for Thanksgiving. I visited with my sister, who's a huge challenge fan. She goes, "Are you watching this season?" I said, "Of course I'm watching." I said, Christina, if you watched our after show, you would have heard that I was coming home to surprise you because I have it on video. I videotaped everyone's surprise. It was on my Instagram if anyone saw it.
I saw it.
But Christina goes, "So Dan, who are you rooting for this season?" And I went,
"Oh,
that is a great question that I'm now going to ask on the show, because I said to my sister, I said, I guess Tori and Devin. And then she said, yeah, I guess. And I was trying to think of other people. I thought of one more that I'm rooting for now. I thought Nelson and Nerys. I kind of like them. But honestly, ladies, I posed that question to you. Please enlighten me, because I don't really have a team I give two craps about.
It's so funny because when you said that, my reaction immediately was, I guess Tori and exactly,
and that's what ours
yours.
was.
I'm like, right? No, it's exactly what yours was. I was like, oh, the funny thing is that I never thought about it. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
But
like,
don't you remember back in the day, you always had your favorites? You were like, come on.
Yeah, from the beginning,
have that vibe anymore.
1 all the way through, you would know who you were rooting for.
Yes, and that was why it was so fun. Yeah,
we're watching a competition show and we're not rooting for anyone particularly.
That's weird.
That is very weird. And that's how this challenge that last season was too. Like I kind of enjoyed watching it, but it was like, who do you want to win? Like, I guess Angela and what's his name? Because they performed so well.
Right.
Oh, from the CBS show.
Right. Like it's a firm, I guess, maybe these people, because like they're doing a good job, but I don't really care because you haven't invested me in any of them.
Yeah.
I think I might be rooting for, I don't know. I think I might be rooting for Jordan and Anissa.
Oh,
I always like Jordan.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jordan's a goddamn hero.
And I really like Amber B because she has so many haters. I want her to just shut them all up.
She has, well, it's not like spoiling anything for next. I'll tell you why people don't like her. And it's funny, Jenna, because you liked this person too. She has big Kendall energy. Where I feel bad for them sometimes and they don't technically do anything wrong, but they're super annoying and I totally get it. Like I would be mean to them too. And it's just because it's not in this upcoming episode. I feel bad for Amber. She doesn't necessarily deserve it, but it's like, that wasn't nice. Just like they have a bit of a whiny nature that's just kind of annoying if you don't like them particularly, or if you're not close to them and get it. So I think they're just sort of can rub people the wrong way for no reason. And that if anyone pressed to say, why don't you like them, would have a hard time picking a reason. But I understand why they're not popular amongst people. Amber's also a good competitor. So it's like, I don't like you and I don't necessarily want to like you that much because I want to put you in or I want to send you home. You know, she doesn't have those 10-year ties, but she's a champion. So she falls in a weird place that I get the where she falls into, I don't know that it's hate, but it's like, look, I'm not loyal to her and she's good. So, you know, let's try and get rid of her. And she still falls with the rookies and allies with the rookies.
Yeah, I mean, that's all game stuff and that's all fair and completely fine. But I do think some people really just don't like her personality and kind of attack that a lot, which doesn't totally, I don't know.
It's not fair, but if you're living with someone.
No, totally. Yes, I get it. And
yeah,
have any which reason that you just don't vibe with that person. And that's completely fine and fair. We're not all here to get along with each other and like each other. It's not gonna work that way. But I just feel like people are kind of like outright mean about her. And I just feel like that's wrong.
I do too. And I feel like the other funny thing is that I totally get it and find her moderately whiny and annoying, but also nice and funny. And like, if I lived with her, would probably really like her. Like, she seems like a nice girl who doesn't deserve, I agree, she doesn't deserve any of the hate. I can see how for whatever reason, it's the way she, like, there, it's the intangible. I don't have a word to describe it, but I can totally feel maybe she just seems not insecure. She's secure. It's this sort of like sort of aspect to her.
Well,
that if you're one of these OG girl, it's like, I don't know.
I got okay. So in this episode, I believe she says something like, "I can't believe Nelly's gonna do this to us. I've been looking out for him this whole season. I've been, hey, I'm like, you have to win something in order to look out for someone else. Like,
right.
The only way, like, so that happened. So that annoys me. She does something else this next episode that annoys me. We can get to it. So it's little things like, I want to like Amber. I say it every week, and she always like. It's not like I hate her. I don't. She's not a Casey to me. Yeah. But she's she's just in the middle somewhere.
There's some whiny.
Well, that was super annoying, but in her defense, not trying to be like Amber super defender here.
Amber defender. Make it Twitter. Amber B. It's the one for me.
That is every challenger, every episode fabricates a reason why somebody should protect them from going in. So it's not just her. I mean, everybody is saying like, but I did this to you one time 8 weeks ago, or I saved you 3 seasons ago. And it's just like, okay, but it's also
right.
And people have to pick 4 teams every time they win. So if you're one of the 4, I mean, it's a game also. Like, people
4 is a lot.
Like the highest alliance, and this is your person you made your promise with from day one, your best friend. Of course, there are situations where it still does feel icky and wrong, but people are really fabricating the alliances. And
okay, speaking of fabricating, though, this is a different vibe then. Tell me what you think of this. In episode 8, there's a little, like, I think Amber gets upset with Michelle because Michelle doesn't hug her when she finds.
But should we just move into episode?
But let me just say this real quick. They go back and show the footage. Michelle hugs Amber. It's not
no,
like
Michelle
she
like
avoided it. And then Amber fabricated it. Amber fabricated this thing. That's what annoys me. I
disagree with you 1,000,000%. Jenna, do you disagree? So what happened was, this is where I'm like,
What happened was
this is one where I'm like, Amber's totally right.
Okay, Michelle, please. I maybe I'm missing something.
So setting up the scene, they announce who's going in.
Yeah.
We are not surprised. So it's Jordan and Anissa win for the day, right? And they put Michelle and Jay in. So we're moving to episode 8. So Jordan and Anissa win. They have a vendetta against Michelle and Jay. And when their name comes up, Amber hugs her. Like, oh, that sucks. Like hugging the 4 people. And Michelle goes, why are you acting like you're surprised? Like, she hugs her back, but she's like snarky and a bitch. And they're like, I love you. We're best friends right before in that setup. And Amber is correct. She's like, what the fuck was that? That like cold. She didn't say she didn't hug her. She said she was rude.
Was Amber put down? Was Amber put up on the board? Okay.
No.
So Michelle's just upset.
Yes,
that
yes,
Amber
but it was really
keeps-
obnoxious. I mean, Michelle apologizes later and to her and says it wasn't. I'm like in the game. I was pissed. I'm my heart on my sleeve. My emotions. I'm emotional.
Right.
She was wrong though. She was a bitch to her. If I got
Amber
if
said
someone
she
was
didn't
like,
hug her.
"Pam,"
She hugged her. She lied about the hug.
she didn't say she didn't hug her. She said she was really
I
rude
swear
when
she
she
said,
hugged her.
"This girl
She
wouldn't
said,
even
I
touch
hugged her. I went to hug her and she was really rude and off and like why are you hugging? You know, and she was right. I'm on Team Amber on that one.
If I'm
But
on
I
the
think
fence
Michelle
about
and
Amber, though, I don't need her hugging me when she feels that bad
They're
that I got
best
put in. Get away
friends.
from me,
They're
Amber.
best friends. She was comforting her. Remember, they're best friends. They love each other. Michelle
Okay, so
loves a lot of people.
Michelle did hug Amber, but she was rude in the hug. And that's when she
Yes.
said, I don't know why you're acting like you're surprised.
Right.
I don't think Michelle meant it towards Amber, but she directed her anger towards Amber. I think she was just kind of
Yes.
speaking out loud, like, ugh, like, obviously I knew this was coming. Like, this sucks. I'm definitely getting called down there. I'm for sure being the team that goes in. So I think in that moment, she was probably upset and angry and annoyed. She shouldn't have said that to Amber.
Yes.
Sure, but also I don't think it's like that over the top. And I think Amber could understand Michelle's frustration in that moment and not take it so personally.
Exaggeration.
About like, I don't know, if you ever lost anything competitively, like if I ever used to lose a game and my mom comes up or my sister's like, yeah, but you know, that was a really good try. I'm just like, shut up.
It sucks. Right.
A good try. Like,
right.
We
and
lost,
don't take
and
it so
sucks.
damn personally.
I don't think Amber needs to take it personally, which is why she's annoying. But I think her and Michelle are both the same as that. So the fact that Michelle's like, oh, let's talk about it tonight. They're like equally whatever. And I do think it was rude. I am remember when Indy was nominated for Big Brother and she's like, I don't want hugs. I don't want comfort. I'm like pissed. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
That's how Michelle was.
Yeah.
She didn't say, I don't want, she's rude to Amber. It is fair. She should have just been like, hold on, give me a second. Like, I don't want to fucking hug right now. I'm really pissed.
I mean, she was already in the middle of it. Amber was hugging her whether she wanted it or not.
Yeah, all right. So
Amber should have recognized that it wasn't personal. That's
let's move
where
on from Huggate for a second.
Okay.
Hashtag Huggate if you're still
but
listening.
I was actually shocked that this got
again.
I was shocked that this got screen time. I was like, really? Like, this is just a normal accidental thing that happens between friends. Like,
this goes to your point, Jenna.
Yes, Michelle was rude. Yes, Michelle was rude. And Amber doesn't speak to her friends that way. So it took her, she was taken aback by it. But also, she didn't need to make it like a whole cry fest for like 5 minutes.
But that's why Amber's annoying. She's annoying.
Well, this can
she's
go
overly sensitive. She takes things too personally, and she's whiny. She's a whiny baby, unfortunately, sometimes. And
well,
it's
this
like,
goes to your point, Jenna, that this episode had a lot of fluff in it that we didn't need. This episode could have been a friggin' hour. You don't need it. This is why you said this episode felt like it dragged to you, Jenna. I mean, a lot of this stuff we don't need. They spent 10 minutes on Banana's 40th birthday tonight. That's how they have to integrate him into the show now because he's getting old. And like, I get it, but usually when they had those birthday parties back in the day, there'd be some drama that happened that night or some hookups. Why can't we get a hookup then? Yeah. They try to show us tonight that Nerese is starting to try to catch feelings for Jordan. I mentioned earlier that Jordan was going to kind of stray from Tori. It looks like next week, mid-season episode, we're going to get some drama with Tori and Jordan finally. I hope that is not just a nothing burger. I hope it actually has some girth to it. I think that sounded a little too sexual, but yeah.
Nice, seed planter by the producers. I wish that we saw more of it, you know, a little bit more Nerese and Jordan. Like, did they talk at all? Are they flirting? Or is this
they showed them dancing tonight? Like, why can't we get a conversation where they talk? Like, Jordan's like, well, I like you, Nerese, but I also have a Tori situation. Apparently, Tori said she's lying naked in his bed every night. Whoa!
We need the social drama, MTV. If you can't do it, then let us do MTV After Dark, the challenge After Dark, and let us cover it full time.
Yeah. Another one of our many ideas.
Stuff that people care about
is really lacking in the actual moments of people and dialogue and talking and real life stuff. It's very confessional. No,
I hate it. Yeah, I hate the confessional based one.
Yeah, it's just very confessional heavy where it's like people have to tell us in our face what happened and we don't get to see it like in the moment, and you don't feel things as, you don't take it as to heart as if you could like see it play out in like
Jenna. So you brought up that it's confessional based, and I had brought that up the other week as well. Tonight, the elimination was almost, if you rewatch, I could not believe what I was watching last night, or no, I watched last night. The whole elimination is confessional based now. I feel like that elimination might have lasted like maybe 30 seconds to a minute. They put so many confessionals in this thing. Like they talked, Jay's like, Jay kept talking, I'm going to win this for my family. I really want to do this. Like the entire elimination, like show the elimination. All it was talking heads. I couldn't believe it.
There was also so much build up to every scene. I felt like every time the group was walking into like the challenge or the elimination or back into the house, it was like a minute and a half long of like slow motion of people like entering the house or music playing as they're walking to elimination. I literally was like, this was an episode where I was doing a lot of phone using,
and we'll talk about the daily challenge next if you ladies would like, but the challenge of the day sucked too. There was nothing to it. They jumped around on cars, and we had literally, could the producers influence this one? Hell yeah. They could have made anybody they wanted to win. And they decided, you know what? It's Jordan and Anissa's turn to win one. Like, we don't know if they won. There's like, yeah, they can win this one. How the hell are we supposed to know as a viewer who won? All we had was talking heads, which is the confessionals saying, yeah, I couldn't believe how fast Jordan was going on that car, which is exactly producer influence. Hey, can you talk about how good Jordan was on the cars? And then they say, Jordan was so fast in the cars. Boom, we put that in, he wins. It's all producer influence.
1,000,000% agree with you. Like so Nelson and Olivia are in confessional, we learn. I have feelings for him. I have feelings for her. I really care about this man. I really care. All I've seen is him smack her ass and like them dance. Like
where are they? Yeah. Where's the in-person, like Jenna said?
Do they have a relationship? Do they?
Where's the real conversation?
We don't even get to see them like giggle together. Like, there's no like, I love them. Like, I think I like them in theory. I like both of them individually.
We never see them together.
Yeah. And in their confessionals, they appear to like each other. Yeah. But like, there's no relationship building in this at all. Like even Tori and even the partners, they did Bananas and Nani a tiny bit, showing like we've got a real relationship. But even the relationships we know about, it's just like Anissa and I have been best friends for 10 years. And it's like, okay, I guess we'll take your word for it.
Well, the Jordan and Anissa thing is bullshit anyways. That one's bullshit anyways.
Needs to be more show than tell.
I believe that Jordan and Anissa exactly are forming a mutual. They have known it. I believe that there's an affection that's been there for many years and that they're making a closer relationship as partners. But like, again, more Jenna, ding, 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 more show, less tell. Like when you think about CT and DM, I know this is like the highest of standard of relationship, but we see them falling in love and fighting and breaking up and making up and like why they work and why they don't. Like, I know that this isn't going to be, we're not going to see Nelson and Olivia on a multi-year period and probably, but
the beginning of the episode starts off, though. Episode 8 starts off with a confessional, of course, from Olivia saying, there's just something about Nelson. He always makes me feel so special. Cut to no footage of the feeling special.
There's no evidence for anything.
Where is the evidence?
And like, it also just feels like we used to love watching the show because it felt like it would be so fun to be in that house. Right. It just felt like it was always a party, or it was always like being at a college house or a college dorm where it's like friends are hanging out and talking and they're laughing and they're fighting and they're making up, or they're being dramatic and being stupid. But it just feels like there's nothing for us to watch, at least in this episode. What's going on in that house? All we're getting is really small vignettes about things that are foreshadowing game moves, or alliances, or who's scared of going in, or do you trust that I'm not gonna put you in? It's all game stuff, and there's nothing that's making it feel like, oh, this is fun. Like they're pranking each other, they're putting on a play, they're doing like
I gotta bring this up then too. So in the confessional, Olivia, while the daily challenge is going on, says, Horacio, he gets really he gets worked up during he crumbles under pressure, all this bullshit. Show like he was flying around on over the cars. Everybody was flying over the cars. They're trying to make it sound like he might not perform well in the elimination that night, right? Like, he's gonna crumble under pressure. There's no evidence.
They wanted us to think that, I guess.
It's really disappointing. This season started off with so hot. we're like, okay, but why can't they just get back to what works, which is showing real relationships? And I feel like it's based on this too. It's a job now, right? Wes said it best. Wes said, back in the day, we weren't doing it for the cameras. We were doing it because we were literally mad at each other. We weren't trying to create enemies for social media purposes. We just wanted to hate each other because I didn't like what Bananas did to me when he drank my alcohol by the pool, whatever it was. It was real shit that was
real
happening.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Now it's not real bullshit. Now it's bullshit.
Agreed. Too overly produced, too polished, too formatted. And
it used to feel like there truly was just camera guys filming every move that was made inside of a house, and now it feels more like, oh, there's a schedule, like they're only filming for these 4 hours.
For sure.
Shit, we have to set up
everything we can.
They get pulled.
Like
it's like they're sleeping in a house, they're sitting in a boat. Hey, Nani and Bananas, can we pull you for a scene where you talk about this? I don't want to see that. Let them roll around.
Bananas has gone so far as to this episode, he breaks the fourth wall. He's like, did you get that about like the pie in the face or whatever? He's like, did you get that to the cameraman? He's like, now I'm not even going to pretend that I don't know. I'm like doing this for TV.
I mean, there's the more obvious one too. I don't want to be that person that's like, reality TV is not real. Obviously, just enjoy it. But the odds of the entire house being in the house and he's
it's so stupid.
It's a glass door.
Right.
He's like, and he does his best acting job where he's like, oh, everyone's here for my 40th birthday party? Get out of here.
And again, uses the opportunity to relay his stats to the world. Like 27-time champ, 61 million amount of money. I'm like, we get it, Bananas. You don't need to make Nani read
remember that. It's obviously the producer who planned that for Nani to write down and say.
Yeah.
Jenna, she's in the conspiracies. She's doing it, Jenna.
All of his accomplishments. And it could have been as simple as just production calling him over for something, and that's why he's out of the house and they set it up. I get it. Maybe it could still be a surprise enough, but it just felt, like, is this real? This is obviously
Didn't feel real to me.
No.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about how I didn't like the Daily Challenge. What did you ladies think of this? It was called Double Trouble, which again, come up with a better name than Double Trouble. How stupid! What did that even have to do with cars?
I again vowed to try and pay attention while TJ explained what it was, and I literally just came to when Olivia and Horacio went. Like I was like, "Up, I guess I know." Like,
about the instructions. I can't hear them. I bet he probably has to say them so many times in real time when they're filming, because if I'm having this hard of a time, I mean, I always have a hard time with it. So I'm not trying to say if I'm having a hard time, this person must be. But I can only imagine, like, if Nelson gets very confused by things. So I feel like he's probably like, wait, what? And they have to run it back 5 times.
Yes, there must be a producer like walking them through it again individually, because like in my job, we have a new system, like a new database system. And the woman who taught me how to use it over the computer, like with a shared screen once, it's like, remember when I told you go to this drop down list? I'm like, no, I don't fucking remember at all. Are you serious? Did I retain everything you said when I watched you do it on my computer screen, the like 20-step process? No. I'm like, no, I always go back and like look up like YouTube. I'm like, no, I don't remember. She's like, because remember, like when I ask questions, she'll say, remember like 2 months ago when I taught you and I said, go to this drop down and put greater than this date. And I'm like, no, I did not remember that actually.
She's
that's like this, like
that she has to repeat it so many times.
Well, I asked her, I wanted to record it. I'm like, so I can just go back and do the process. Like that would help me instead of asking you every time I have a question, I could go back and watch. She didn't seem to want that to happen. She just kind of deflected that. So I don't know.
Well, she should have put her screen blank then and then let you do it. So she didn't want her face on it or something. Just have
I don't know what she didn't want, but I was like, can I just record it so that I can go back and like revisit these questions without having to bug you, because I'm not retaining it.
And email it to her.
Yeah.
So that
watch out.
What's the deal?
Ladies,
so
why was it?
It was pretty straightforward. I mean, I think it's one of those that would be fun to participate in, but is boring to watch on TV. I mean, that's why we see Olivia and Horacio. We see like their entire run of it. And then it's a montage of 7 other teams going in like record speed.
Yeah.
And then we get to see full Nani Bananas and full Jordan and Anissa. So it just is kind of like, okay, why are you showing us certain ones?
And of course, we have as Dan said, no fucking idea. They could have been like, who do we want to win tonight? Like, it could have been anyone. I mean, you can see who didn't do well. So obviously, it was of the teams they sort of showed and talked about. We heard they did well. He was running across there.
Exactly.
Boy, he did so
it's such
good.
garbage.
Devin's so much better than I thought he would be. Like, those are the things that we got to
They could have brought
fluffy.
Nam back out with whoever his partner was, and hey, they actually did this earlier in the day. They actually were better than all you, so they're gonna win. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, we forgot to record
winning.
it, but they won. Yeah, it could have been anyone. So like, I kind of believe that. I don't think it's completely fake, but I feel like it's like, all right, these three did well. Who do we?
How about this?
We want to
Jordan and Anissa got screwed over the last 2 episodes by what's their faces?
Right.
Jay and Michelle. Let's let them have some drama and get them back because they're obviously going to. That'll bring drama to our show. It's too odd. Why are they making it so obvious?
Too, and I don't want to discredit their win because Jordan is so great. Like, why couldn't they have won that? But it just felt like
they totally could have. But
the too obvious of thing is always happening. The thing that you think is going to make the best arc for the storyline happens.
Oh, right. And like, Nelson didn't even want to get the dagger. They're the only team that like didn't want the safety dagger because all their closest allies are involved.
Of course, they get it. Yeah, you know, like, the challenge is not super entertaining when you start critiquing the show. For example, we talk about how we wanted to go back to the last team has to go automatically into elimination. I also was thinking this challenge reminded me of another thing they used to do that I wish they still did, that the winner of last week got to pick the order of how the teams were.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, why do like Bananas and Jordan and Anissa get to go second to last and last?
And who knows if they even did? That's what I'm like. Do you think they did 2 heats at the same time and we just saw them?
Let's be honest too, though. We don't know the order any of these people went in. They just put them in that order and edited it the way too.
I wish when people had to sit there and think like, oh, we're going to put this person first, because then it's a deficit to that person competing. And it also kind of shows where people are aligned in the game. So that was actually a really sneaky, integral part into seeing, you know, what people.
But you know, as viewers back in the day, we didn't even think about that stuff. We were just enjoying the show. But yeah, these are great things that they kept.
Yeah,
that they should have kept.
Little things were really, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. and this seems just like, again, the complaints. And again, overall, I'm enjoying this to some extent. But we're not the minority here. Like, everybody in the world seems to
I agree. It's not just us
so
saying these
things.
Come
on, just give us what we want. Give us people hanging out. Give us messy. Give us relationships. Give us messy.
People maybe aren't anymore. People aren't like partying.
Of course I mean, I'm sure the productions have all cracked down on
a lot of things had to change.
Things
but
that
also
you
people
say and do,
like 21 to 27
40,
and now they're like 32 to 40,
right?
So different lifestyles, you know, those people can still party and have those drunken moments, but for the most part, I feel like maybe it's just everyone's kind of boring in the house now.
Well, the
like, they're
newbies
not, like, pranking each other or like doing any cute little silly things.
The new people, again, speaking to that, are young. Like Horacio and Olivia are young, and again, as much as, and they're likable. Like, I completely like them, but it's like, why on earth would I care about these 2 people that I don't know anything about? So they're doing that again, where they're 2 people that they're likable. We haven't seen her, like, her relationship with Nelson is a thing that I care about in theory.
Or her hanging out with the girls in the house. Where's the girls?
Right, or her best friends with
whatever. Where's the guys groups? Where's the girls and guys? Yeah.
Exactly. Like, those got just even hanging. Like, just like, so Nerys and Olivia and who's the third girl, Mariah. She's like, those are my close friends.
Yes, we're now supposed to feel like, oh no, this core group of 3 girls.
Right.
It's like, since when?
Right, since when?
I don't think I've seen Mariah and Nerys in the same room on this show, and yet they're like besties supposedly. So
I didn't know how to pronounce Mariah's name until today.
Yeah,
so
we're learning it. We're learning something new about her every week, like how to pronounce her name.
Also, they used to just drink in the house too, and now again we're talking about how everything feels like scheduled and everything feels so like blocked out. it literally used to just feel like a madhouse. Like you could drink all day, do
Yes.
whatever, run around all day, work out, whatever. And now I feel like we're seeing very specific moments. Like now they go to a club or they go
Yes.
to a separate place where they do the drinking and
Right.
make liability.
And they used to,
So
obviously, they
that
went to.
might not even be something production going to help, but just having
Right.
like constant interactions and chaos in the house is really missed.
But just the delirium, like when you live in a house like that. Exactly, Jenna. Like I went to camp, just like Dan lived by a lake. And like we were children, we didn't drink up to teenagers. But you like get when you're just like in that world with someone all day,
Yeah.
like laying around hanging out, and you realize like we would get to hear why they don't like Amber B. Like she's annoying. Like why isn't she as good friends with that group? I get why the sort of OGs aren't into her, but like why isn't she close with them? You know, why what are her and Michelle? Michelle loves her. Why? What have they talked about? How are they just regular hanging? You don't even have to be drunk and fighting or fucking. Like just chilling out is fun too. Like those are also some of the best moments when they're just like deliriously hanging out.
And let's be real too. The club scenes they used to show, the entire night was based purely on, okay, this is the part of the show where we're going to talk about the relationships, who's going to hook up at night, all this stuff.
Yes.
Now they get to the club,
God.
they show a tidbit of some people dancing, and it goes back into pure politicking.
Yeah.
It's just, I need a break from it. Like, give me, like, it does. The show is not 100% a competition show. We know this. We talked about this a million times. It's based on all these other little factors, but they're purely making it competition now. And what the next strategy is, I need a break from. I want to just a fun, messy night. People being silly, and they don't show any of it. They're afraid to get canceled. They're afraid of all this woke shit. Kind of sucks.
The boredom is what makes for the best moment. So not even out drinking, but just the boredom leading to the pranks and to that's the kind of thing. It's like, let's go get them. That happens.
They're afraid to show us that stuff now.
Yeah, and it's also because the politics that they are showing, the gameplay that's being done is pretty predictable.
Right.
It's not anything that we haven't kind of seen every episode.
Well, which is why they never focused fully on politicking, because it's just boring.
We're told the same thing every episode, so we don't need it 8 times that episode. Very predictable alliances, but maybe it's the only thing these people are talking about. I don't
believe. Tori and Jordan, okay? I'd have a camera on them 24/7. I would watch them all night long. Like, I know that sounds weird, but like, why aren't they? There's more but listen, there's a lot more conversations happening with Tori and Jordan midnight. They'd have the green, the night lens camera on them, right? The night camera, whatever it's called. And then they would show in subtext back in the day what they're talking about at night. Like, I don't like, I'm naked right now. I feel vulnerable. I still like you. Where is it? It's happening.
Yes. Exactly.
They're missing. Like, why won't they show that to us? It's obviously
Tori and Devin
happening.
Hanging out. Like their friendship is fun. Like
show it all to us, and they're not giving any of it to us. I don't get it.
They need to make us care.
Did they let Kenny out of the room to like meet Nani, Casey's girlfriend, or do they just keep him chained to the bed?
Kenny just waits. He just waits in a waiting room till he's called.
Willpower? Can Kenny feed himself? Can he do anything? I mean, we're not seeing anything. Does he have any personality outside of trying to convince Nelson that they are friends again and the random cuddling session he has? Like, we know that him and Casey were on Big Brother together, but is there any other depth to that friendship that we're not seeing?
So can we talk about stupid Fessy now?
All of it. Like, what is Nerisse? I just feel like Nerisse is so cool and interesting.
Yeah.
But what is she like when she's like hanging out with the girls? You know, like what do they talk about? What is? I don't know. It's just all
right.
She mentioned that actually on her social media. She mentioned it, Jenna. I don't know if you saw it on her social media, but she's like, people are judging me based on like 10% of what they actually show about my personality. It's 100% true. It's ridiculous.
She seems cool. I mean, what they show is only good. How could anyone judge her on?
They are though.
When she was on other shows, she was always getting into something and confronting people and being in the drama. I don't know, maybe it's not happening this season because I'm sure they would show it, but she has like personality. And we're not seeing it. Yeah.
I mean, I think we can see as again, she's about 0.3% of the show, but even in that, she comes off awesome to me. You can tell, maybe it's because I know
Well, she's getting, apparently she's getting hate
I've seen
online. I don't
her.
know what for. Maybe she hooked up with Johnny too much. Who the hell knows? It's garbage stuff. But they're giving
hard
her
for anybody to not get hate. Like, when do
I know
people
exactly. You could be that's the point, Pam. They're gonna get hate no matter how cool they are.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
So can we talk about Fessy? He is the person, just real quick, with his conversation with Nelly about how great friends and allies they were.
Yeah, sure.
He's one of the people that talks and literally says nothing. Like, I didn't even understand that was what was going on until the episode progressed and we saw how it was going to play out. I was like, what is he saying? That's what my notes were on that whole conversation. Oh, Fessy, what are you even saying? ? I had no, like, what was it? I love you, man. I'm loyal to you. We're in an alliance. Like, what was he? Yes, he was trying to reinforce those bonds.
Your teammate is better than mine. You're going to win more daily challenges. I need you to save my ass. And I'm going to suck up to you a little bit and say we're best buds. When the truth is that if it was reversed, now Fessy would throw him in a heartbeat, not even think it twice about it.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, also, why is Nelson not seeing Fessy's backhanded compliment where Fessy said, I feel like you feel I'm going to save you. And I was like, what?
Right, that's why I was like, what are you saying? Are you
I
saying
feel like you feel like I'm gonna save you. And it's like, so you're basically saying you might not, but you know that I trust you. And
what did that mean? Like, I feel like, what was he trying to say? That
I think
you're right to feel that way?
I think he was trying to tip around the fact of like, I might still throw your ass in, but I think that you think I'm not gonna.
I think he meant the opposite. I think he was trying to say, hopefully you feel for me, my loyalty. Like, I think you feel my loyalty. We're roommates now. We're over. I think that's what he was trying to say.
This is what happened, Pam. I think that Fessy misread the script that the producers gave him things to say, and then he messed up the line. They're like, we've done this 5 times, Fessy. We're just going to keep one of them. You can't say it right. We're done.
Just forget it.
Let's go back to the other vignette that we scheduled.
Yeah,
right.
We scheduled it for 10 o'clock, Fessy. You took too long. We're late on that now. We're late.
And literally, I'm not even trying to cry conspiracy, but I 100% it would make sense what you guys said earlier, that like it's not around the clock crew with editors and crew people, and then they piece together millions of footage. You know, now there's so much editing that literally it's like, all right, we're shooting the show. We're going to do some confessionals from 3 to 5. We're going to shoot you out you get to go out and drink for 2 hours and we'll shoot. And that's it. And they make a show of it. I don't think that they're now compiling just everything and making a show out of, it seems like they are just shooting the competitions, confessionals, and a little bit of discussion out and making a show of it.
What do you think?
Carter thinks.
Carter, what do you think?
Carter, what are you saying, puppy?
Carter, don't move if you think there's a conspiracy.
He's so cute.
He's not moving.
He has a reindeer
He's not moving. He's standing still. Look at him.
He has a reindeer because there's
like a statue. Oh, there he goes.
Luke has
well, but that was that. He already stood his ground for the conspiracy.
He did stand his ground.
He has a reindeer costume, which I will put on him and take a picture of.
You need to put it on him next week, so when he's walking around in the background,
I will.
You know, it's getting closer to that time of the year, so
I'm going to. That's why I got it for him. He looks really cute.
Moving on, because I feel like our venting complaining sessions.
Yeah.
What I want to complain about is what we talked about earlier. Everybody's fabrication of you really owe me. You owe me. Is like Fessy and Mariah's whole what am I trying to say? Like whole parade. Anissa really shouldn't have thrown us in because we saved her when we had the chance to say her name. You did that 7 weeks ago.
And you didn't save her, you just didn't pick her.
Yeah, you just didn't pick her.
Right, you just didn't, of the 20 teams, she wasn't one of the 3, 4 you picked. It wasn't like, I would never say Anissa's name. He's making it like, that was my no. And it's like, Fessy, I'm going to go ahead and say I don't like him. And it's not that I don't like is even too strong. Just, he's someone that it's like, okay, like I believe we just don't see things the same way. Like clearly he's not lying about the way he sees things or pretending all the time, but it's like, everything he like thinks and says, I'm like, really? That's your take on that? Like,
but again,
great. Now I'm
not just him. It's not just him. Everybody is trying to find any reason.
Everyone is doing that, but
be thrown in, which I get it. But also game show.
But also, and you were a shitty
show.
partner to Anissa Fessy. Remember, like she hated you and wanted to get away from you, or you hated her and wanted to get. He's making it. He's revisionist history now that like they were great. They're super loyal. They formed almost like Darrell and Amber B. Like they were partners, and now there's loyalty there. They really brought it home together and formed a sort of unbreakable bond. It's like you were in a shitty partnership that you didn't want, and then you traded her out.
Yeah, he dipped on her.
What do you mean acting like, right? Like, well, now I know where you stand.
Doesn't owe anything to you. And you should be counting your lucky stars that she's coming over apologetically and hugging you and trying to make amends. And you're looking in the camera like, how dare this bitch? Like, how dare she do this to me? It's like, nobody owes you anything in this game. If you have a strong alliance with your number one team, yes, they should look out for you and they should save you. But you can't make every other team in this house indebted to you. You can't make it seem like everybody owes you a fucking favor.
Right. It's ridiculous. And again, I'm like, wait, them? Oh yeah, I had to go back and like really try hard to think about why would she be? And it's like, oh, because three seasons ago they were accidentally partners.
And also there's significantly less amount of people in this house now. Like if you had won today, Fessy, I'm sure she would be up for consideration. Like,
I mean, I don't know because I forgot he was there too until this episode. So they really haven't shown a lot of him. I forgot.
Like if Mariah is so close with all of these girls that we have to kind of piece together because they said one thing about it. And his best person is Casey. And then Casey's best person is Nany. Yeah, Anissa's probably going up if Fessy wins. So I don't know.
We haven't even seen one conversation between his best loyal friend. Casey and
they have one.
Fessy.
They had one like last week.
Oh, I don't even remember it.
Yeah,
well, they had one at the beginning of the season where he told her the name change thing, which was so produced because I've never told you this before until we were on camera.
Right. Oh, and there's one shot, they do get some gym shots. That's the only other thing we have. There's some working out conversation. So it's confessional, out, competition, and working out. Those are the only.
But it's always a montage when it's a workout. Like it's always like, ooh, it feels like an 80s montage.
Isn't it? People... Have we gotten a Casey confessional in like forever? They don't even have anything to ask her in a confessional. I do not remember seeing her in a confessional. Or Kenny.
They're not too. Scheduling interviews with her. They're like, we'll do
Kenny's a mute. You guys didn't know that?
Yeah, Kenny doesn't
Kenny can't talk. Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
I mean, jumping ahead then to the
we'll jump ahead to the nominations.
Want the dagger.
Obviously Jordan and Issa nominate Jay and Michelle. Then there's also Nelson, Nerys, Horacio, and Olivia, and then Fessy and Mariah. Those are the four that are other teams.
And obviously Nelson and Nerys get the dagger because it has to be them because they're the storyline. It was alluded to the entire episode. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen if we pull the dagger?
We my best friend or my girlfriend. Oh, no. Yeah, we don't want it.
Okay, so Pam, I now give you the floor to go in on Nelson's decision to save Fessy because I know that you were itching at that.
It's just like now I'm so mad that I'm almost over it. It's like, what the fuck, Nelson? I thought during his I've never won. Maybe I need to stop during his confessional where we learn his inner monologue was maybe the reason I've never won is because I play this game with my heart too much. And I like that his heart was with Fessy, not Olivia. I play this game with my heart too much. I'm too loyal. I'm too nice. But then he goes and does the dumbass Nelson thing, which is save your friend who is a shit and wouldn't save you. You like Olivia better and don't want her to leave. And you want to get Fessy just strategically. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Do you think that Fessy and Mariah would have gotten the same type of help that Olivia and Horacio got because of
everyone really likes Horacio. You know what I mean? Like everyone.
But I'm just saying,
even Jordan, they were
Jordan would have been just as vocal with them with helping Fessy, I think, right?
No.
He hates Jay and Michelle though.
Yeah, but he hates Jay and Michelle, but Jordan and Bananas were the ring. Oh, also, so no, I don't think they would have gotten as much because no one's gonna really go. I think those were truly rookie underdogs that everybody likes. With Fessy, it's like, we don't like you that much. At least we'll make it a kind of fair competition. And with that, it was like, we want Jay and Michelle to go home and we want these people to stay. Even Jordan.
It was really Bananas and Jordan that were screaming at the top of their lungs, and they overpowered everybody else. I do think at one point I heard somebody trying to give Michelle a little bit of help, but you
Amber,
just
I think,
it
was
was
trying
Amber.
to help.
You just couldn't hear over Jordan and Bananas, and they were the ones that wanted Jay out. Jay and Michelle, and
yeah,
their objective to make sure that happened, and they
did, and it sucked. Like, it was sucked to watch because that was annoying too. Even that, I was like, shut the fuck up, Bananas. Like, before, when they were screaming, I was like, Jay and Michelle totally would have won had that not happened. I guess, again,
well,
that's
it would have been a fair
game.
fight. I can't say they would totally have won. I think it could have just been a fair fight. I don't know.
At least the way they showed it, it was like Horacio and Olivia could not get it together at first.
It's like, should Michelle... you be excited when you beat a team when they had 9 players on the field and you had 11? You know, would you really use that as like bragging points? It's kind of like, do you want to, Jordan, do you want to win a fair fight, or do you want to win like...
Well, and that's what I posed to you ladies. Jordan was in the 2 weeks ago. Jordan was down there with Anissa. However, that elimination, there wasn't a lot for the peanut gallery, if you want to call them that, to really be messing with. It was just dodgeball, and you just had to focus on dodge. Now, if Jordan's down there in this rolly ball and people are going against him, how's Jordan going to feel about that? It's a fine line. It really is.
Jordan knows how to. Do you remember when he beat Darrell in the rolly ball endurance thing? How to psych people out. He's really good at it, and he uses it.
True, but I wonder how you feel if the whole house was against him.
No, it sucks, but I think he would, take it. It's just, I think it sucks. And my unpopular, I wanted Jay and Michelle to win just because, literally only for the reason of, I feel like I care about them a little more.
See, like, that's what's so pathetic about me watching it. I didn't care who came. I didn't care who won. That's why this show is not working for me now. I literally said, I don't care who comes back.
I'm a tiny bit more invested in Jay and Michelle, just because I don't give a shit about Horacio. Forgot he was there. He seems like a nice guy. Whatever. Olivia, I guess her and Nelson like each other, but it's his fault. It was the dumbest move. At least I would have cared because we know Fessy. At least I don't like Fessy. I have at least feelings. I would have been like, ooh, lose Fessy. I couldn't have given.
Well, maybe, and I'll take a bullet here for Nelson, because I don't know if I agree with it, but I'll just throw it out there so you ladies can think about it. Did Nelson think that the people up on the stage would be helping Olivia and Horacio out a lot more than they would help out a Fessy and a Mariah? So he's like, well, if I put them down there, then they're going to get a lot of help. They'll probably come back either way.
Because you can't tell. No, Nelson, did not loop. Many jumps.
No one would think that, really. No one would think that. Because nobody has really had that amount of influence on the eliminations, I feel like. Yes, people have always cheered for people and helped people, but to be like overbearingly involved, like we saw it with Turbo in one of the first few episodes of the season.
It happened there too.
Yes,
against Olivia. It was against the rookies again. Yeah.
Yes, but that was different because Turbo was an asshole in the house and everybody liked him on a personal level. Like, he was just being very kind of, I feel like, rude, and people just,
and he sort of deserved it.
It's different than like unanimously an entire house not liking your presence in there because of your character versus like, no, me and my friend don't like this partnership, so we're going to make sure this partnership wins the elimination.
And you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what it's going to be. So you don't know. But the answer to that is a hard no. I don't think Nelson thought, I'll pick them because they have a better chance of winning because people will help them.
Yeah.
I told you I was taking a bullet for him with that one.
Okay,
but I was
you're
trying
taking
my
a
best.
bullet, but why? I don't even understand. Of all the confessionals, why didn't we get... Well, Nelson didn't even... I don't understand that decision. Like, was it because he thinks they would have come back and he didn't want to make an end? Like, what?
Well, he clearly wants to work with Fessy, and Nelson's way too loyal all the time. That's just his thing. It's his MO at this point.
I think bridge that gap with Fessy. Yes, Fessy did throw him in, but what was that, like 2 years ago? So I think that
or more.
he feels as though that wound is completely closed and they have completely gotten over that hump. So then why would he divert back to something that happened
For his
years
game, it would be better
I
to
think
try
he's
and get rid of.
Yes, but you
Well,
also can't really do that to someone. You can't say like, I forgive you, let's move on, and then constantly hang it over their head. You wouldn't like that in any of your friendships or relationships, you know?
I think he's
Imagine
giving Fessy
No.
one last chance, Pamela. One last chance
Well,
for Fessy. That's it.
I just think
Fine.
it's like,
A
I don't
chance
know, if
for
you're
Fessy, a Christmas
yeah,
movie.
you do something wrong to your friend or your husband or fiance, and then they're like, okay, no, I forgive you for that. Then like an entire year later, they can't be like, but you did that to me that one time in
It's
September.
true. We've had, I mean, I'm sure all relationships do, where I'm like, you can't, Lord, that either like let that go or like don't be in a right. Like there's things that it's like you have to either move on or
But stop
or
bringing it up. Yeah.
right. You can't. There's things that you can't be like, well, 3 years ago you said that. It's like,
Yeah.
sorry, either accept the apology and move on. Yeah. You guys, I have a heart out in 3 minutes.
Okay,
so,
let's bring this up real quick. Mid-season switch up supposedly going to happen next week. We don't know what it means. They said it in the previews for next week. There's some type of mid-season switch up. What do we think it is? 3 minutes still out.
Teams, they're no longer ride or die because we feel so attached to all of these ride or dies because they've given us all of the evidence to feel like these are unbreakable bonds this entire season, and we would be absolutely devastated that now they're getting scrambled up. But maybe they're just going to switch them.
I think they're going to.
I don't even know.
I hope they all go. I hope they all go by themselves, because then I can actually root for Jordan full-heartedly. It'd be nice.
But then would it be gender, like, or do you pick new ride? Like, I don't know.
The ride or die theme has to stay, so I don't know how they do it singles, so they probably won't do that. But I'm just saying. That's what I want.
I don't know. I don't even know, because I honestly don't know. I guess my guess will be that they have to switch ride or dies.
But why? That doesn't make zero sense.
Well, because well, they've done that before. They've done that where it's like you have to play with your it's not
or ride.
Yeah, you play with your person you love, and then now you're playing against them.
Yeah.
All
right.
Or whatever secret.
Final thoughts. I am upset to see Jay and Michelle go, because like them or not, I don't even know if I like them or not, but they were, at least for the 4 segments that we now get to see, working out at the club, competition, and confessional, they gave good TV. So
they won 2 challenges. That also helped them be very prominently shown. Yeah.
They were a little messy. Like, they have at least, there's at least stuff going on with them. Whereas these other teams, it's like, I don't know. Either I know I like you from the past, or I know I don't like you from the past, or you're Olivia and Horacio, and I have no fucking idea whether I care or not, because who knows.
I do like Olivia and Horacio a lot, and they have definitely claimed their game. They have now won. This is their 3rd elimination that they've won, so that's great.
It is,
with a little help from their friends. I want to throw that in there. I mean,
granted, the one versus Turbo, they were completely instructed off of everybody else in the house, so they won that. The whole house won that. They didn't even really win that.
It's not that
against Johnny, they won, which is great, but I do wish that Michelle and Jay stayed, because they were a really good team, and I think they have won. And I think that they were pissing people off because they were also so good. Whatever, politics, strategy, whatever.
Right.
Let's be real. You can't save everybody. So everybody, oh, look, I have only one earring on. Everyone needed to get over that. I think it's also because that they were so good.
They were good, and they made big moves. People.
And I wish for that reason that they stayed, because they were making everybody a little bit shaky.
Agreed. They definitely spiced things up, brought things to the mix. And yes, the rookies, I like them. Like, they're completely likable. There's nothing not to like about them, but I don't care. I'm not invested in them at all. I don't know them, put it that way. They seem nice, but I don't care. Like, if they went, I'd be like, okay, bye. But,
Yeah.
All right. Well, make sure y'all tune in next week for our mid-season episode. It's going to be that's around the mid-season, they were telling us. So we're prepped and ready for that. We're very excited, and we'll see y'all next week right here on the Challenge After Show. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.